recording now. I have Gina in chat, and because we missed that, I want to say, as we're recording now, that I don't consent to your haters or trolls. Keep your entities to yourself. Just by me setting this intention, that means that you could keep your entities to yourself because it'd be yours to transmute. That is it, because I'm too sovereign. So don't even bother. Step back. Thank you. All right, so we have Gina in chat. In case you're new to us, go to my website, risingphoenixaurora.com. I'm a spiritual revolutionist, and I host workshops and online and in person, and also retreats. Retreat is in Sedona coming up and Grand Canyon, one spot. In other ways, we're going to Hawaii, right? So yeah, thank you for your patience. I have to repeat that quickly. All right, let's get going. Patreon, go to Patreon, support this video and all other videos. Okay, so write your comments here. And Gina's taking watching them over, and then I am also the author to two books. We have more in the workings, of course. Galactic Soul History of the Universe and Galactic History of the Multiverse, which are just incredible. You definitely want to check them out so you could understand entities, aliens. Sure, that's part of it, but really just this whole construct of the universe and where we're at on Earth completely puts everything into perspective so that you can step into your power and realize how divinely amazing you are. So let's get started. Write your questions and comments. All right, we are good. You can hear me and see me good. Let's get started. All right, so what is this video about? This video, we often hear about like, okay, what happened in the fall, like, you know, all this like inverted timelines, but we don't quite always go into the beauty of what was Atlantis. Why was this so traumatic for us? Why did fear really begin in Atlantis? And how can we vibrate back to the organic original blueprint of what it was? Okay, so I have courses. I know I didn't record it. So the Buddha, I have Buddha course this Sunday, and how to be your most enlightened state. We're going to go into the brain and really go into that higher self and the higher consciousness, higher heart, just really the brain, and understand this. It's going to be quite incredible. You also join me then Sunday. So yeah, so this is how I'm accessing and how I'm remote viewing. I have to reach my highest basically form, which is really my higher self and my oversoul form, and then I'm remote viewing like an ego would, you can say, below. So that's how I will be connecting from above, from my higher self perspective, setting very clear intentions. Only source of light is allowed within this space, and that is all. Thank you. So just source of light is allowed within the space, and I have my shields up, you know, I have embodied by love. So okay, and sacred alchemy. All right, so let's get started. So we're going to see the beauty of it. But this beauty of Atlantis is really the promised land, the original land. We often hear, you know, as it is above, so it is below. And the way that the universe really created this earth and this construct back when it was a crystalline construct. We've been talking to you. I'm going to refer you to videos if you want to check it out, because we do have a playlist. Which playlist is that? The Matrix. We have a playlist on the Matrix. I also remote viewed the Matrix, and that was a lot of the inversions. And then I also we have an Mayan Atlantean series, because this would be a video to that, even though we already channeled the Mayan. So it's an added one to that, because we are going back to Atlantis. All right. Okay, so those are videos I'll refer you to. So let's go back now. I'm going back, taking deep breaths. I'm gonna start connecting to that time and space. Drinking water. What am I wearing? Probably Super 7. You guys, I'm sure you guys are asking. Super 7, smoky quartz, and this beautiful piece here. Ryan Haddon, look her up. That's where I got this mala from. And this one I made myself. This is like going back to that time and space. It just brings so much immense love. It's immensity of infinite love that runs through your body, that was truly the original blueprint of Mother Earth. So makes you a little teary. Okay, so we're gonna go back. Here we are. I'm looking right above. So beautiful. So what I'm seeing is a beautiful spheric 5-dimensional Earth. Now, if you watch our Antarctica Tertiary series, you know that the Earth is more of a flat kind of construct now, because that's what happens when you go into the 3D scientifically. You watch that series, but energetically, though, she's always spheric because she always began the spheric. And the way it works is for this construct to be constructed it was constructed all the beauties of the universe, the flowers, which the flowers, as we look upon them, just alone the flowers are flowers of the universe. Some of them could even be multiversal, but you're looking at flowers that came from a different planet. That's why there's so many of them, right? There's thousands of them. And know that when you're looking at those flowers, they connect you to that actual planet. So this whole construct is made up of all these different planets of the people that incarnated into Earth. Us, you, me, that's us. And we brought our flowers with, we brought our trees with, our plants with, because they're part of our construct where we came, whether you know we had 1,000 incarnations in the universe in different planets, or whether we just had a couple. They came with us to provide us that sustainable environment, because you must still have the ecosystem to all these beings who are coming in incarnated from these different planets. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at like this. I'm looking at Atlantis being built, Earth, the 5D, being created by source. And I can see winds, like those maps that I've been showing you in the Antarctica Tertiary series. I see the winds blowing in from all 16 really directions, like the compass in the old maps, 16 directions, and they're building this construct. In this it's only built by Divine Mother and Father Source, Love Life Source, God Source, right? And that all the elements, they're being constructed, created within a womb energy. Everything's coming to be the growing. It's good visualization for you, like Moana, when the lava goddess is infuriated because they stole her crystal heart, right? She gets her crystal heart back, and not that part, but the part where she turns into this earth, right? And or this island, and the nature is coming out of her and everything's growing. So that's what I'm watching Earth turn into. Everything's being seeded, and it's like the sun is glowing on the land, and as the sun glows on the land, all the little seeds are rapidly birthing out. I even see the giant trees, which is so beautiful. I've never seen this before. The giant trees, the ones that we talk about in Antarctica Tertiary series, where they were as tall as the crystalline dome, those are being birthed even then. It's not, say, it is still crystalline dome, but not in the perspective of the 3D, like more of a flat surface. It's just like the embodiment of the energy of the 5D, because when we were in 5D, we were crystalline, we were energy, you understand? So more energy, right? But as you know, we've talked about this, the fall of Atlantis, right? And now we're in the 3D, which is more of a physical, more of an illusion. But it's a illusion, it's a hologram, say, a false hologram over Earth, and the people who are choosing to play and act in that matrix, they're acting in that. And the people who are choosing to be more organic, then you vibrate more higher, and easier to manifest, create, and so on, because you're bringing in that blueprint of the 5D. But you have to really vibrate to love and service to others a lot to be able to do that for yourself. But you got to remove the entities, right? So then to vibrate to that, okay, so that's what's happening there. All right, so do we understand? So then the earth, it's all these different elements, they're building the water, the ocean, everything's building. The trees are growing, like how if you were to fast forward a tree, you just plant the seed right into the soil, which is mother's womb, the element. You plant the seed, and then they're growing. The trees are growing gigantic, and they're setting up the whole construct where it is protected and shielded. We don't know quite yet that we have to really do that yet, because the AI Archon virus, the Merlin, it has not begun yet in that time and space. But there is still has to be some kind of construct, love, energy, like how a cell has a membrane wall like that. So that's what we have going on here. because that's just the way it is. You create a being, you're not gonna create them without skin, without, without the outside. You gotta create the shell, like, the turtle has a shell, like the snail has its shell, and like that. Okay. Okay, so everything's growing, so just kind of like visualizing, understanding that all the trees, and then there's many trees from all over. I wonder how many trees there are. But Gina, if you can look that up and maybe type it in the doc. So how many like tree species there are, and I'm sure there's a lot more than what they tell us. But so for every tree that's incarnated on Earth, every dryad or spirit tree, because a tree even has a spirit as well. Everything has consciousness. If it's something, then it has an embodiment. If you are alive and breathing, if you are there, even if you're still like a tree, you still have to have consciousness. So there's about 73,300 species of trees. Wow, that sure is a lot. How about flowers? I wonder how many flowers. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So we did not have 73,000, big giants, trees, because that was not possible, but there were some major ones I'm seeing. Just kind of like in the spaces of the lands, and how each one of, I'm seeing at least, there's a lot though. There's so many. Hundreds, I'd say, of giant trees, massive ones, again, that reached the sky and held up the energy of the earth, like the tree of life. Okay. All right. You love the Buddha statue in the background. I know, I love him too. He's so beautiful. Okay. All right. So let's see what else. Okay. So then the trees grow, they hold up the space. Wow. I think my most favorite though is they're so beautiful, but definitely the willow tree that I see, it's gigantic. And then there's flowering giant trees, giant, like cherry blossoms, like that, but different, like how we have flowering trees on Earth. There's hundreds of them holding up the crystalline dome or crystalline sphere at that point, energy. Wow. And then of course the oak trees that we've been talking about since Angel Oaks, right? Okay. All right. So, as we're going through, okay, we're doing that. All right. So then first, before we actually see the souls, first needs to come the elements and the environment and the ecosystem, you understand, before the souls can come in. So that's what we're doing. We're growing that, there's rocks, crystals, and even before that, and even inside of that, like inside Earth, going back actually before even the elements and the tree, actually there's crystals inside, and there's these plates and plates of crystals that then basically like a sacred download, or I don't like the word download, but sacred integration comes in, and then all these elemental souls basically are being seeded into the crystals, and then that's what outgrows the giant trees, the flowers, and all the environment, because everything's being downloaded. Eventually though, these crystals then also end up connecting to the pyramids all over Earth, right? Because there's millions, thousands, I don't know, there's probably not millions, more like 144,000 for sure. There's tons of major ones, like the beacon ones, but then there's even more, honestly, that we don't know of. Again, those mountains, a lot of them are just pyramids. Okay, so that comes eventually once humankind starts developing and they know that they have to build the pyramids eventually, okay? But before that, we built the construct, the crystalline, everything, elements, air, water, wind, spirit, right? Okay, fire, so on. Okay, now we are seeding in. I see the seeding in of the souls. So before there's souls, first, who do you need to first seed in, right, you all? Who do you think would come first? Mother and father. And then I think that's where Adam, like in the church, Yeshua wrote, right? Yeshua left that behind, but we know that they compromised that much, but that there was Adam and Eve. And there's not all that destruction about like, you know, the Eve ate the apple and then the snake and blah 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 blah. None of that. You know, like the snake bit her. I don't know. There's so many different stories and different, you know, it's all nonsense. So none of that destruction. It's just really beautiful. And even then, I'm seeing like these beautiful, like angelic energies, and like goddess and gods energies that are really rooted to the Greek gods, but they're not incarnated yet, but they're in the outside and they're helping construct and they're holding space before this earth that is a crystalline simulation is the best word we could say, right? Because as we know, only one planet can hold one race and one element, and it's just not possible because every single race is different and a different ecosystem. So this is the only place, this is how incredible we are. The only place, or the only construct, the only really crystalline simulation that we could be here with multitudes of races from all over creation, all over your universe, right? Okay, so let's see what else. All right. Same goes for dogs, right? Cats, and you know, there's all these different species, even like foxes. I think there's different species, right? Like pigs, different colors, and everything has a like a multi-spectrum of races. Even the humans, right? We got different colors, tones, skin. So, but in reality, we are beings that came from the stars, beings that came from other planets that came in. And then there's also some beings that were just first born to Earth. Those are more like the indigenous people of all the lands, no matter what shade they were, indigenous, that were caretakers to Mother Earth and really, you know, connecting to the sun, the moon, and, you know, really honoring that, that sacred teachings from ancient times, okay? All right. So yeah, they're being seated. So first comes mother, father, Adam and Eve, you know, here comes the children being, say, birth. And the way they're showing me is it's like a birthing that's coming out from their sacred love and their sacred union. It's like many babies. It's not like how it is now, because this was a 5D construct, and it's like energy, many babies, thousands of babies coming out of their sacred love, like out of her womb, Divine Mother Sophia, who's Eve. And all these, say, babies are coming out, and they're not really, you know, kind of like babies, because obviously, I mean they could be babies. Let me look. Some, how do you grow them? I'm talking to her. Oh, okay. So yes, okay. So this goes back to Aphrodite and how she bursts out from the water, right? She shows me like little pearls, and they're all inside. Oh, that's so special. So they're inside the waters of Mother Earth, okay, and they're inside shells, and then they grow in those shells. Okay, as they grow, then they turn into more of a, say, teenager adult body. But even then, remember, this is not physical, so there isn't an age, and there's no time in that time, you know, in that time and space. There's no time. Okay, that doesn't exist. So no construct like that. So eventually, then the souls are seated and they grow in the waters of infinite creation. All right. And out they go, you know, they grow into the lands and they explore, they have free will, they have, you know, this is then a crystalline organic blueprint. I didn't realize we were gonna go this back. That's okay, we're gonna get to Atlantis, don't worry. Okay, so then from there, all right, so we're gonna fast forward. So many beings are incarnating. I mean, it's exciting all over the universe. People are like, "Oh my God, have you been to Earth yet?" And you know, in the 5D, it's incredible. I went and I hung out there for some time, and I got to interact with all these natures from all over the universe and flowers. It's truly paradise and glorious and beautiful. And then, you know, people would come in and kind of like wait their turn, and they would, you know, just like when you come in, it's like it's a soul inside a crystalline pod. And we actually basically, what I can show you here is I did have an illustrator do this for me. So in order for you to come in, but you could find out more information about this because we go into the depths of what is the crystalline energy for you to come into here, into Earth. So it's like a chrysalis, a butterfly chrysalis, made out of crystal, pure love, pure love. And you're basically fractal downloads or incarnates into this chrysalis formation, which then basically kind of your consciousness comes into this crystalline simulation. That's how it begins. Okay, and then that's how you're able to interact with all the elements in one planet, one construct. Come join us at a retreat, a workshop to really find out the matrix presentation, which I only share there. But let me look up the illustration I had made. Did I download it? Oh, I gotta download it. So let me keep talking while I download it. Yeah, so okay. All right, so you choose like when you incarnate how you're gonna look, you know. I guess the video game, I don't really like that example, but it's simplest thing is the video games. You choose how you're gonna look, how tall you're gonna be, you know, what's gonna be your, say, vessel for the time being. And back then it wasn't an illusional vessel, even though, I mean, it wasn't a physical 3D vessel, it was more like a crystalline vessel energy. And yeah, so all over the universe they're talking and they're getting in line to get in here because it's so much fun and you're learning so much. It's also the school of the universe because you kind of forget who you are, not to the deepest level of density that we are now, but you are forgetting in some form. So you do give yourself some lessons before you come in, like what you're going to learn while you're here. And everything's happening in your consciousness. This is why we always teach, and why like the Buddha course that we're about to teach Sunday is so important, because it's going to teach us how the universe exists here inside our brain, inside our third eye, inside our glands. And yeah, understanding that. Okay, so this is a good illustration here that you can see what I'm talking about of the chrysalis. Yeah. Okay. And you have those Buddha swirls too. Okay. Life force chi, chakras running through you, spirals. Wrong one. Let me see. Maybe I should download it. That'll be easier to zoom in. So that just a little illustration that you want to see. Now, when you go back and watch those videos, right, and of the Matrix, and then you find out like what happened to the system here, and it became with the AI virus, the Archon, and how people allowed it in by their decisions and by the density that they were vibrating to, then it turns into more like the Matrix pod, the movies, because that's what you're vibrating to, that's what you're matching vibration to. You're to the illusion of, you know, the density, the inverted. Okay, so I'll show you again. I downloaded here. That'll be easier to show you here. Okay, so this is all basically plasma crystalline light of source. And I mean, all the, you know, you choose your crystalline, say chrysalis that you are in to come in, and this person's in, basically they're in the, say, the game, you're in here. But again, AI, then it's kind of dark, it's got dark wires and stuff, but you could come learn more about our courses with that. A.U.R.A, you learned that, and the retreats again, workshops. Okay, so that's a good visualization there for us. Okay, so pretty. So this person is a starseed, basically. This being would have been a soul that was incarnated in a planet, and they decided to come into the game, to the Earth, and then their fractal came in and their consciousness is in. Okay. All right. Well, and then that's all those videos, right? Like the Matrix and how they trapped us within all of that. Now, which I'm not going into because we have a whole playlist and tons of videos on that stuff already. Okay. All right. Let me see what questions you guys have so far. Okay. No, I don't see any questions yet. Okay. All right, so but that's you to get in. Once you have your in, like say you're in that state you are in. At that point, you open your eyes and you're awake. You can sense and see everything. But back to the crystalline, it's different now with the 3D, right? Crystalline. All right. So the whole construct has been built. There's life form blossoming everywhere. There's babies, of course, being born, and there's also at that point animals as well, baby animals. There's insects, but not the mosquitoes that are artificial or ticks or so on. You know, there's insects that are important to the environment, and um, to say the environment of with the soil and everything that is part of the circle of life, right? And of course nothing is eating each other, you know, that role that the animals play, you know, like being predators towards one another. That's because of the humans. They have to be like that because the humans densified the earth by the integration of AI, and then they have to do that to really help us with transmuting the dense energies. So obviously in this 5D, they're not like that. They're beautiful and they don't attack each other. There's none of that predatory. Okay. So yeah, I mean, the lions, the tigers, everybody just kind of walks among kind of equalness and no target on each other. Okay. All right. So that's that. All right. So let's fast forward. Tons. I mean, there's no time. Long time we're here. We're here a long time. You can watch the Matrix presentation, Galactic History. Good video would be the 7 goddesses. We'll add the links later. And then Goddess Durga when she went up against Bellows, the Dark AI Archon. Okay, so you can watch that. Those 2 videos to understand a little bit, but otherwise, yeah, go watch them all. I know it's a lot though, but I mean, every video is definitely worth it because every video has new content. Okay. All right. Okay, so we're going in there and then, all right, so yeah, I see that. Okay. So I'm going back and forth. So yeah, thank you for your patience. So okay, so it's advanced, and there is the major part to the earth is located at Atlantis, and you can say it's the heart of Atlantis because it is the heart. Let me see, the heart of Earth. Yeah. So Atlantis is the heart of Earth. It's a major point where energies are being channeled out like a waterfall into Earth, and I even see plasma water, like amniotic fluid. You know how the child needs the amniotic fluid to grow, so there's amniotic fluid coming out of the water. That's why sometimes people find like the cenotes in Yucatan, cenotes and other places where they find 2 different bodies of water just because they're 2 different densities. The thicker one would be the one that's more plasmic, that's more crystalline. So then there's a flow of that coming out, and it's constantly keeping Mother Earth just really replenished with, kind of like a mother would you know, break her water, and then actually the fluids do regrow themselves. If the water breaks and it's not time for the baby, the amniotic fluids just regrow again. So like that. So it keeps Earth really beautifully. And then now I'm going into Atlantis. Here we go. Okay, so this is many people, thousands and thousands of people are incarnated on Earth, and they are I see, oh my god, they're so beautiful. Oh, they're full of colors. Colors are just, ooh, okay. All right, so let's see. I'm looking from above and I see how the islands are made into a star fort. If you watch Genghis Khan, a channel Genghis Khan, go check that out. We talked about star forts there and how important they were. So it's just because it needs to be a star fort, not because it needs to be protected in that time of space. It just is. Okay, so I'm seeing one center, kind of like Hawaii, how you have a big island, right? The big island, and then you have little islands like that. But instead, it's the shape of a star, and it's in the Atlantic Ocean, and these right here. And then, like right at the center of the Atlantic Ocean, and then some of the lands still do actually go into the different parts of the land surrounding. So both on, say, the east side of the Atlantic Ocean, where say Africa, UK, really Ireland, is that right? And then the other side where there's South America, Yucatan, right? Okay, because in this time of space, it's 5D, so we have all these lands are active. Yashua just walked the Earth video that you want to watch. He explains to us how really the Americas was really only discovered until around his birthing time, and he'll explain that for you. Okay, but in that time of space, we see both lands. At some point, the side of the Americas needed to stick with the 5D, like the Vesica Pisces, the bifurcation that we talk about. Okay, but in this time of space, there are two worlds. They're both not two worlds. They're all crystalline, right? Okay. So at the center, they're the heart, and they just keep everything in balance and so beautiful. Okay. And everyone's positive. We have councils. We have different races. So I'm gonna go to the main island at the center. At the main island there she is, the Angel Oaks tree, which we explained to you that the Angel Oaks tree, both in Angel Oaks and the two big giant trees in New Orleans, are seeds of her that she threw out when Atlantis fell so she could save herself, right? So there's this giant, I have pictures. There's this giant oak tree there, and the branches are so beautiful. They're big and huge that they literally take up the whole island. The whole major big island is her. They're literally living in a tree house. You understand? Even like the houses that are made out of crystalline, are like, their homes are made like kind of like hobbits, but again, everything I'm gonna say is not 3D, it's going to be 5D, right? Crystalline. So like kind of like little hobbit homes made out from the branches, crystalline branches. So in case you don't know the Angel Oaks tree, we went there. When did we go? This year? Yeah, this year. And there she is, right? Oh, so sacred. So you see these branches, they on the ground. Gigantic. She's gigantic. So visualize that crystalline. It's all crystal energy, rainbow crystal light. Huge, making up a whole island. All right? Okay. And then also understand that you could go into the tree too. And this trunk is gigantic. I mean, it's the heart and the core of the big island. So they could go into the tree, and I see they have like portals, like a cave, like a cavernous with multiple caves like that, but there's caves inside, say, the tree, and you go into it and you connect to different realms basically through entering the tree. Okay, and then below surrounding, there's crystalline towers all over that are so beautiful. They come out of the tree, the branches. So like you talk to the tree talks to you, right? You interact, of course, and then you ask for shelter and say like, I want a home, I want it, maybe I want it blue, I want it pink, whatever, and then the tree just kind of listens, and because again, everybody's positive, right? So then they grow, and I'm like, yeah, I want it like on this tall or so on. So I see like these giant towers coming out. They kind of look like obelisks, but they're like, they're formed like how clusters of crystals would be formed, like that. Okay, and they're all basically surrounding the whole environment of the tree. Now the tree goes giant. I mean, in this understanding, it could actually, some of the branches reach all the way to the top of the spheric formation of Earth, like I explained. But then she also has branches then that are on the soil of Mother Earth. Okay, so beautiful. All right. And then there's buildings, right? There's councils, there's buildings. Everything is crystal and energy. Even the air that you're breathing, there's like crystal glitter in the air you're breathing in, not say just oxygen. You're breathing in crystals. So understand that everything that I'm explaining, you all, that's where we're at. We are in this construct right now. So every breath that you could taking, you could be breathing in crystals if you vibrate your body, your heart to love. to the original 5D blueprint and you don't have attachments, right? Inversions, like you are vibrating to that, the crystallis form, then you are breathing in those crystals. All of that I mentioned. I mean, you could turn your home into a chrysalis. Yeah. A crystal tower. You could say, like, you can, just by basically anchoring in that idea, that energy, because the 5D is still here. It just has the overlay of the 3D, like a crust over it that needs to be uncrusted. So the blueprint's always going to be here. It's that you're choosing which one do you choose to vibrate to. Okay. Thinking maybe we'll make a course on this. I feel like we need to talk about symbols on this, and anyways, that's okay. This is a good it's a good teaser to how incredible really our workshops are. Okay. So yeah, the your home, the trees, even your trees in your property should be energetically as gigantic as a crystalline dome connecting to the sky. So visualize them that tall, you know, the soil, everything at its original plasmic energy. Okay. So behind the overlay, this original blueprint there, okay, of all organic elements. Okay, going through and seeing what else we want to talk about here. Okay, so that's so beautiful. Okay. Constant birthing of energy, like a constant birthing, like a mother constantly birthing in children, like that's how the energy feels in Atlantis. Okay, and then you can watch the videos that I mentioned in the Matrix, because eventually it turns dark, right? Okay, and then it can't flow like that. There's so many videos on it. All right, so from there, okay, so there's so many. Let's talk about some of the souls that I see walking around, because then that's just the main island. There's many other islands, right? The major islands of the 12 islands, they really do represent the 1213 key star, which I can show you. Actually, it's right here. I found it. The Home Goods, TJ Maxx. Very cool. So this has got 12 points. Yeah, but let me show you the 2-dimensional. This is what it looks like, say, energetically, like 3-dimensional. So let me show you the key 2-dimensional. Let me pull that up. 1 minute. Okay. So all the islands are in this 1213 key. So it's basically 4 triangles. 4 triangles actually put together and make this, you all. So let me show you. Like that. Okay. But when it becomes 3D, it becomes like this. Okay, so there's a big island here, and then there's islands at the corners of all 4 of these triangles that make it up. Okay. All right. All right, so that's the first island. Let me see if there's anything else. So in this island, there's giants, right? There's like, I mean, if we have to put feet to them, because to understand with our human minds, I mean, you know, 30 feet people, 20 feet people. Then that video was showing me yesterday on the giant where he put the foot into the soil, but now it's a rock. Can you send that to me? Okay, and there's different sizes. I mean, I don't think there's not really, like, at this time, shorter people like us, except for the Indigenous. I mean, like me, really, like 5'1", right? Some of you guys are more like 6 feet. But yeah, there is even 6 feet though in that time and space is short. Okay. So they're all magnificent and beautiful. So if you could understand and visualize like Greek gods and goddesses, right, where they're like, they're shining golden and beautiful in their robes, and or even like Egyptian priestesses, the good priests of Egypt, you know, where they had gold on them and they had just like really gorgeous and glowing, right? Like everyone was hot and sexy then. Yeah. Okay. But not everyone's like humanoid like us. Some people look in Atlantis like bird beings. So going back to the hieroglyphics in Egypt, which is pretty amazing to think about. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that because as I'm discovering, I'm remote viewing Grand Canyon part 1, part 2, part 3. We're on part 3 now. We finished part 3. We're understanding how Egypt really degressed, and that truly Egypt, you all, was there till Tartaria times, so just a couple hundred years, like early 1900s. And I saw Divine Mother Isis actually, it's backwards. They say that she was like back then, but I mean the truth is that all these like Nefertiti, Cleopatra, Isis, you know, they're all mother. Hathor, they're all mother. But Divine Mother Isis actually, you all, was there at the end of Tartaria, and that's where we find all the Divine Mother Isis temples, like how we found the one in Nashville. We'll make a video about it, but just to give you an understanding. So like Egypt, they were all like connected, all these different, you know, like you go to Chicago and like there's every theater is a different theme. You know, this beautiful one that's made out, you know, India. I have this beautiful theater we've gone to in Chicago that, yeah, this gets Indian gods and goddesses, and you know, but yeah, we'll talk about that later. Okay, so back to Atlantis. So all these gods and goddesses, right? Okay, so yeah, there's beings, there's angels, like beings with angel wings walking around. So there's actual angels incarnated into the construct as well. There is giraffe beings, humanoids. I see them walking around. Elephant beings, you know, like what's his name, the Indian god, what is his name, Lord Ganesh, right? So all right, it's just so beautiful to see them. There's feline beings, you know, there's dog beings, there's even beings made out of elements and like plants, like bunch of vines and flowers in humanoid form, but they got eyes, you know, kind of like a dryad, like if you were to make a statue of nature, like with bark and all these elements. There's also like there's elvins, of course, because that's really the closest we were in the 5D, more like we were elvins. Like Lord of the Rings, where you meet the elves and they're just magnificent, right? You're just like, you know, you're looking at them like, you know, like your jaw drops, like wow, like that. So then I see like also all over Earth, it's not just the main like Atlantis, there's also leaders all over the Earth that we've been talking about, that they said that they were in Lemuria and they transitioned after the fall of Atlantis, right? So I think there was Goddess Freya, she was Lemuria, transitioned into when it started becoming densified. I think Genghis Khan was one of them. I can't remember though, because I channeled this. Pretty sure Genghis Khan was one. Was he? But let me think. There's other ones too. Like then there was the priestesses that traveled out and went to the Mayan pyramids and they built that. Oh, and then the recent one in Grand Canyon, we learned Cleopatra or Mother Hera, Divine Mother Hera was not Hera, Hathor. Hathor was the original blueprint. Was there when it degressed down Egypt, and then they had to go over to Grand Canyon. You can watch that to understand. Okay, so yeah, so it's not just there; they're everywhere. Like even the Vikings, and or you know, they have leaders. Okay, and then we also watched Princess Aurora and King Arthur, and they tell their story of that digression too. You can add that link for that too. Okay. All right, so we have to understand that it wasn't just Atlantis, it was spread out, not just one area was like this, okay? And then of course, then you had the Indigenous that lived just kind of like in the trees and the, you know, in the Kind of like the movie, the blue Avatar movies with the blue skin beings and how they just live in the nature. It's like that. Okay, that was indigenous people. All right, let's go back. Okay, so back to the big island. Anything else? So everything's alive. Like you talk to it and it like manifests it, and it's about that blueprint of the trees that are helping you manifest it. So really what we're explaining also too is the promised land, like I said, in 5D, and how we'll be able to manifest things just really with our thoughts instantaneously. Now with that would be manifestations of benevolence and positivity right now, like dark things. Okay, especially in the 5D, that's not going to be allowed anymore. Or really, we're not going back to the 5D because we were in the 5D, like I've told you all before. We're going to ascend out into the 60 and above because 5D is not going to exist anymore because that's done. That experiment is done. So be 60 and higher, and at that point everything's going to be instant manifestation. So at a whole nother level of what I'm speaking about here now. And then even before, like I'm seeing, like if say you're going to manifest, I don't know, let's just say you want to grow a crystal in Atlantis, right? And then you're talking to the tree to help you grow the crystal. Before you even grow the crystal, you have to set your intention, like talk to the tree and be like, well, what do I want this crystal? It's not for like, you know, like how people buy things and they're like hoarders and, you know, they just kind of like keep a bunch of junk. It's not like that. No, everything that you do, like I've always taught you all, is to do it with a divine purpose. So everything is like that in that time and space. And so if you're going to ask for the tree to help you grow crystal, maybe you want to say, okay, I want to help my voice become more I want to be more of a singer, and I want to, you know, develop my crystalline muscles here in my throat, and I feel like I would want a Lumerian crystal. Not Lumerian, what is that called? Making the malas on them. What's it called? Is that what it's called? It's called Lumerian. Oh my goodness. That blue light crystal, which is called... I can't remember right now. I'm gonna look it up. Okay, so I'm seeing that, like, okay, there's a being talking. Oh, that is so funny. I didn't even have to go into my shop. It just kind of like popped it up for me without me even typing it. What is it called? Larimar. So as I'm seeing like someone talking, and this is like an actual person showing me an example. They're like talking about, they want to make their voice maybe more like a kind of like how the sirens go, the mermaids, they go into different octaves in their voice. So they want to make it like that, and they want to work, but not for self-gain purposes, of course, because that's not part of it. Then it's more like, I want to heal. So I'm gonna go to this person that's showing me this. So she looks beautiful. She's got red hair. She looks like a, again, Greek goddess. She's got a white robe, and she's got, I feel like it's goddess Freya in this perspective. She's come and visited the islands because she was more on the other, where she was in Norse mythology. She's come to visit. Oh, she's come to visit. She's come and talk to the tree. And she wants to sing a song for her beloved. Oh, okay. So it's for love, right? And so then she asks, and then the tree helps her create then a Larimar, a sphere that the tree gives to her. You understand? So like that, sacredness, okay? And then of course, then that crystal actually does, for real, activate her voice to different octaves, you know, sounds, frequencies, octaves. Yeah, I think I'm saying, yep. And then she gets it, you know. But it's really, so in 60 is going to be an instant manifestation from, say, thin air. But in the 5D, it was more like you talk to the trees, and the trees work with you to manifest what you're trying to manifest. You understand? So it's a different level of manifestation. Still very fast, but it's a pure manifestation, not a manifestation how people use the 111 invertedly, which is so horrible, or they siphon other people's sacral energy to create for themselves. None of that kind of stuff. It's all just beauty and for a divine good purpose. Okay, we understand that. Okay. We're coming up almost an hour. Am I doing good? I'm explaining everything really good. So someone's asking, is Atlantis and Lumeria, the Star Child taught us that the way you say it is Lemuria, not Lumeria, but we'll call it Lumeria, but Lemuria, one in the same or separate. So Atlantis and Lemuria, the same. They are the same. It was always Lemuria, but what happened was that Atlantis had to separate and bifurcate itself when it became inverted, sunk in, right? So then that's why it became Atlantis, because it needed to separate from Lemuria, but it has always will be and always has been Lemuria, and it's just a 3D construct over it. Okay, good question. So that's why the crystals can connect you back to these Lemurian. And maybe if you want to get a Lemurian crystal, that's a really powerful one to type into the original Lemurian blueprint. Okay, all right. So that's the only question I see. I know I'm doing a really good job of explaining, which doesn't really allow too much questions for you guys, but that's okay. All right. So, okay. So then that's good. Okay, we understand manifestation. That's space. Good. Then there's councils. So there's councils, right? And there's children, of course, just kind of like running around everywhere. They're so cute. Just like laughing and giggling. Like there's a fox. Oh, there's a fox humanoid, and there's a foal. Like what is that foal? Like a deer. A deer, little kid running around, humanoid. It's like those movies we watch, like Marvel movies. You go to these different planets, and right there's like different aliens, but they're also beautiful and positive. Okay, it's like that dark seed hasn't been planted, and it's none of that. So much joy and love and happiness. Okay, so then from there, it's really just about like enjoying this experience and teaching, because it is the school, right, of the universe, the earth is. So there's schooling. There is schools, like how kids go to schools, but they're not 3D and giving them false information. They're actually teaching them the real information, like, you know, the universe. They're learning about the universe, how the universe works. It's incredible, you all. Like the stars, how they create, and you know, everything. It's each child has like this crystalline kind of tablet is the one being shown, and the crystalline tablet is theirs. It's like theirs. The tree gave it to them, birthed it out, and then this crystalline tablet shows them what needs to be shown. So as the teacher's teaching it, the crystalline tablet shows them the visualization to it. And to some parts they do that, but to some parts they just really just kind of go inwards to find it in their own consciousness. So they're teaching them that. They, of course, the children can fly. So can people too. Like they could go into their Merkabahs, and then their Merkabahs with a crystal expands and they're flying around. So, I mean, you could go on a boat ride, but it's faster to fly to the other outskirt islands of the 12, 13 key stars showed you, so you could go visit out there, and it looks like paradise, like that thumbnail that I showed you with, like, you know, like nature and like beautiful buildings like that. Yeah, and the children are just so joyful. I mean, there's no this craziness here. You know, they're taught, because I mean, there is still sacred sex then, because you have to create with your creational energy with one another, still create babies, but the children are taught how sacred their sacred chakra is, and to not have, you know, intercourse energetically with anyone, to basically save it for their true, say, twin flame and soulmate. I mean, the children are taught how to recognize your twin flame soulmates, how, you know, all these things that we can't do for ourselves, or is challenging for us ourselves here. I mean, they're taught it all. It's really the truth of how to, like, even, like, you know, I mean, the children already know it the minute they're born, but how to, like, sustain off the sun, like breatharians, you could say, instead of, yeah, yeah, how to sustain off the sun. Wow, it's so beautiful. Yeah, like I miss it just thinking about it. Just like, wow, I miss it. That's so beautiful. Yeah. So, uh-huh. Wow. Parents are so involved with their children. They're just like, of course, the best parents in creation, and they still let them learn their lessons, like, not everyone's gonna agree, even that time and space, but there's no like murdering and like bullying and cybering, whatever, bullying, that's not allowed. That's not even part of the construct. Not everyone's going to agree, but people agree to disagree, without disrespect, because I mean, they know the sacred laws like free will, love, honor, and respect, like how I always tell everyone, right? I love you, honor you, and respect you. Respect is not about like pledging allegiance to you. It's the fact that I respect your soul and your decisions and your free will, and I love you. I respect you for that. So that's, I honor that I honor you, that I love you, and that I respect you. So it's just that type of understanding that everyone's interacting with. Okay. So tree. So I feel like this is going to be in future literature, but I do see that there's 12 trees, and there's 12 major trees besides the oak tree that are there. And I would have to channel that and write that down for you guys. So just keep an eye out, and hopefully in the next, I don't know, 6 months, we'll get a book out. Wow. Yeah, so that I see. So cool. So how the giant angel oak tree, how it showed you how the branches reach the bottom? Like I see these branches some of them are so long that actually each one of these, some of the branches reach the islands too, the surrounding islands. So you could walk on them. You can, like, if you wanted to, not fly, like you could. Wow, it's so cool. Walk onto the other island through the branches, kind of like a climbing a tree. Children love to do that. I mean, there's no fear to drowning too. Like the children won't drown, obviously. I mean, because everyone naturally knows how to float. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But they can fly there too. Okay, so wow. It's connecting to everything. Oh yeah, yeah. The giant, right? The giant. I had asked my husband to send me the giant footprint. So interesting. This video is so interesting because I'll let you look at it. Let's see how long the video is. Let me load it.
Paluzi.
Let me share it.
In South Africa, very close to the Swaziland border. Now, this is one of the greatest examples of an ancient footprint, a giant footprint about 4 feet high in rough granite. It's between 200 million and 3 billion years old. That's what geologists will tell you. Look at this. There's the, when you, there's the big toe and the other 4 toes down to the small toe, down to the heel. What's fascinating about this is anybody that does a study of this will notice this piece sticking out here. It's like when you put your foot in mud and you pull it out, your toes will lift up a little mud where your toes work. I think we'll put this up for everybody to see.
It's cool, huh? So that shows you that part where I was talking about different giants. So that's a rock. I mean, so that would have been from when the earth was forming, that, back when it was, say, I guess like mud. and that somehow turned into a rock eventually, probably from the when it densified from the 5D to the 3D, and there's the giant foot on there. Interesting, huh? So cool. Thank you for that. Okay. All right. I mean, they look beautiful. There's also councils. There's major councils. At the heart of we'll call it Big Island, and yes, they're beautiful. They got lots of crystals on them, sapphires and diamonds on them, jewelry and robes, and just magnificent to look upon. They're walking around and just like there's always it's incredible, you all, to be in that time of space, because all there is children laughter. It's like, there's an adult walking, with their say scrolls or teachings, and there's just like children laughing everywhere. Like the laughter is felt and heard and vibrated through your body. Hello, right? I've never seen children so happy on earth. It is so beautiful, you all. Take a minute to hear their laughter. Can you hear them? It's beautiful, huh? It's like a song constantly playing. Just thinking about how inverted it is here. Like, some of the scary movies you watch when you're younger, and the children laughing and counting, made into horror movies. Like 1, 2, 3, whatever time issue. I don't know. I never really watched horror movies. But if you think about it like that, how they distorted a child's laugh into being ominous and evil. Gosh, it's important to talk about, to transmute that, you all, right? Instead, tapping into the beauty of the child's laughter. Wow. Okay, and how healing that could be. I mean, that alone could hold up a crystalline blueprint. It's like children laughing like that all the time, We're gonna run this in another 15 minutes. 15-20 minutes. Okay. All right, so here we go. So then from there, so let's go out of the Big Island and let's go to the other ones. So these islands do represent the 12-13 keys sacred laws that we speak about, because when there must always still be some kind of like sacred boundaries, no matter what was happening, whether it was the virus yet or not. So free will, you gotta have, like, before you create something, you make up the construct of it. So, right, which is, you can go to my website for that, risingphoenixaurora.com, or you could buy book 1, which we go into the 1 chapter of these sacred laws of the universe. But otherwise, I can pull it up right here really quick for you so you can see and we can discuss them. So every one of these, hold on, let me see. Yeah, .com. Okay, wait for it to load. Okay, sharing it now. Here we go. Okay, so if you go to my site, I have lots of good stuff happening here. Yeah, so we're gonna go, what are we looking at? Oh yeah, 13 keys. So one of the options is 13 keys. I mean, I do also have new angel pictures up, you all, that we're working on one by one. And this is one of our newest ones. While we're here, Archangel AuroRa. You can't really see it as detailed there, but I posted them all under my social medias where you can see the more detail to that picture. Okay, but let's go here. 13 keys. Oh, and then of course I channeled, like, who they are, and videos that you can find there. Because these guardians basically assist to hold balance within these keys. So then, yeah, it's good to have the visualization for you all. Like, what other new one did I get? Yeshua Mary Magdalene. Again, better pictures though in Instagram. Okay. All right. So then 13 keys, sacred laws. Okay, so these sacred keys, basically, again, right, Atlantis is right here. And then these islands hold up these sacred laws of the universe, which are root one, right, chakra, Manchester, and then they're found in different locations, but this is what the sacred law is: the law of action, root chakra, the sacred chakra, the law of rhythm, solar plexus, the law of free will, stellar gateway, law of polarity, throat chakra, law of vibration, third eye, law of cause and effect, crown chakra, law of wisdom, earth star, the law of surrender, soul star, law of evolution, universal gateway, law of purpose, Shambhala, the law of potential, inner earth, law of grace, and then last one, of course, is the love, the law of love, heart chakra, okay, which is a cosmic gateway, cosmic and earth gateway. All right, you can read more about those. So, okay, so that's what these islands embody. Do feel that there's still pieces of Atlantis still hanging on, and I can tell you that Puerto Rico is one, and Ireland, one of these islands, these pieces of the islands that fell. Okay. And even going into Florida and into the Gulf of Mexico, some of these islands connected into these areas where you can find like sacred sands like Siesta Key, where it's clear quartz, factually 99.9% clear quartz. Okay. Because they're pieces, basically, the sand are pieces like stardust of a giant crystal there that used to be there in these islands. Okay, all right. Another one is so cool as you all, like Hawaii. It's just incredible. We're going to the retreat there because, like the Big Island, did you know that the Big Island has different color sands? For real, like one beach you go to is gold, but then you go to the one right next to it, it's black sand. Then you go to the one right next to it, it's green sand. You know, so what? It's so cool, right? Okay, so that's what I'm seeing, like these magical sands all over like these islands like that, like different colors. Wow. Okay. So then from there, everyone's like equal, everyone's in union, there's telepathy. We're talking telepathically, like we're linked, but not linked. We're just, we don't need to pick up a phone to call each other. We can just kind of like send a message out and boom. We communicate basically third eye to third eye. I've taught you guys how in the Mayan Atlantean series, you remember how the Mayan priestess, but really she was a priestess from Atlantis, how she taught us how she would communicate with her third eye. You can watch that video like that. Okay, and so yeah, wow. It's amazing. I saw pink dolphins. There's pink dolphins, you all. You know those pink ones that people start seeing all of a sudden? You know those pink dolphins came in during the eclipse time, where some people claim it was CERN, but as we taught you, CERN is not a god. So what happened is that the AuroRa spread, and then there is portals under the portals. So they literally came in internationally through these water portals, through waters of the plasmic densities that I said, how there's waters and waters. They came in through those, and now they're here. And they're hopefully going to breed a lot of pink, adorable dolphins. Yeah, so that's how that happened. And so, yeah, I'm seeing them everywhere. There's no sharks, by the way. I don't have a link on it right now. I have to look it up. And I don't have time for that, but maybe Gina, can you try to find me a link and add it to the doc of remember the shark egg? It's like weird. It's important I talk about the sharks because they weren't in Atlantis. They're not organic consciousness. They're AI consciousness, really. So find me that link if you can. Okay, so and then I'll show it to you. Okay, so let's go back. So there's blue and pink dolphins are the major ones. There's also actually other colors too that I'm seeing. Wow, gold. Okay, and they're everywhere. They're like, you know how we Yeah, there's dragons too, of course. So there's dragons in the water. Seahorse dragons, that dragons that look like seahorses, and there's, you know, just like dragons that are made out of the water that emanate out. And then, you know how we ride, say, motorcycles here? We would ride the dolphins like motorcycles on the water. Oh, brings you back to the Avatar movie, which is like really, really good. The blue skinned people, right? The part two, there's the water Avatar people, and they're riding kind of like these fish looking things in the water. So it's like that, but they were dolphins. Highly intellectual, and there's whales. And there's all life forms on Earth, in the sea, except for sharks. Or squids or octopuses. Yep, that's part of the AI. So no squids or octopuses and no sharks. Okay. All right, I'll keep an eye on the doc once you find me a link for that. Okay. All right. Oh, it's so beautiful. Okay, so what happened was that later on, you know, when it became inverted, which we're not going into, right? But they made artificial, the scientists made artificial hybrid of sharks. And even like the aliens, basically, when they were inverted and dark and compromised in their, you know, consciousness, they made them like clones, like how you make gray clones. We've talked about this in the past in labs. And you'll see the eggs once we find that link, hopefully. That is not Mother Earth made organic. Yeah. So the goal though was to get the sharks in the water to basically kill off the dolphins. The water was overpopulated, we could say, with dolphins before, and they wanted to kill the high vibration in the ocean, which would have been the sharks, to come and attack them. Okay. Okay, shark eggs. Is it a video? Let me see. I see if it's a video. Well, they had them on TikTok. Can you find me a video? There was some video on TikTok. Yeah, I don't see. Yeah. Do you remember that one I had showed how it looked like there was the sack of clone was inside the shark? See if you can find it on TikTok. Okay, let's keep going. All right, so this is a lot, you all. So then we're going through. So yeah, every island is gorgeous. There's a different giant tree there, and they all connect like nerves. You know how your nervous system, we taught this in the Archangel Raphael course, and how to start connect, like understanding the human anatomy and the DNA. But okay, so I guess I'll give you a visualization really quick. Let me find that. So the nervous system connects to all parts of the body. I mean, without the nervous system, I mean, it's just organs, nothing will function, right? So that's why you have to make sure your nervous system is very powerful and strong and clear. So we'll say like this image here that I found on the web here, and you see how we are a tree, right? Because this is the nervous system, right? Connects through the whole body here, that there. Okay. Okay, so you can visualize the trees and the roots and the branches talk to one another like that. Okay. All those courses I've mentioned, you can find them on my website. Otherwise, join us live on Patreon. Rising Phoenix AuroRa. Okay, so yeah. So I see them communicating. It's just like light, like streams of light that travel through the branches. Like orbs of light. Oh, like your neurons. Oh, beautiful. Your neurons, how they connect to the brain and they talk. So that's what I'm seeing with the trees, that they're talking to each other like neurons to a brain. It's alive, so beautiful. And it's just like, and they don't just talk to the trees here. All the roots go deep, right? It's the roots go deep into the water, deep into the lands. So all these roots interconnect with one another throughout the entire earth. And that's how the earth communicates to one another. Wow. So she says that she communicates through the roots of the trees. Oh, okay. Seeing what else they're showing me. What else magic you can share with us? Let's see if we found that link to the shark. Oh, TikTok video. Nice. Shark eggs. Oh yeah, that's the one I need. Okay. So you all who work with, especially if you're Aura and Raw, I can't tell you about any modalities, but we work with AI consciousness, something to think about to work with the ocean and AI sharks. Okay, so here, let's...
I found this shark egg.
You see that? Oh, what happened to the song?
Worry, that
let me
egg
rewind
did
it.
not.
That's right there.
I found this shark egg, and you guys were all
Do you see that, you all? It's like rubber. That's not Mother Earth made. Do you think Mother Earth would make something like that? No, she wouldn't.
for a lot of different reasons. First of all, don't worry, that egg did not
Look at, it's like, what is that inside of there? It just looks really
have a
weird.
shark in it.
But there is technically a baby shark in there.
When I found it, it was already empty. And yes, that slime that you see did come from inside of the egg. Now let me answer some.
There you go. See, that's one with a baby shark inside of it. You see, that looks like clone sacs, artificial wombs.
Shark eggs. The first one is
Artificial wombs. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna show you there. So working with the ocean there. Thank you for that link. Okay. All right. And of course, there's mermaids, and there's trident mermaids, and there's Poseidon at this point. All these Greek gods were basically also originals to Atlantis too. So then there's also the Greek gods in Mount Olympus. There is Greek gods there, and other beings who were there once the digression started happening on Earth to the 3D. Okay. And it's not like the movies, they didn't fight against each other. They were actually protecting humankind. But humankind was not the same. Okay. What questions do you guys have? Let me see. Let's see what else they want to talk about. But I see you guys got good questions now. All right, let's start answering some questions. So was Goddess Freya linked to Hyperborea? Were these islands linked to Atlantis? If so, any more on this? I do feel that yes, they were. Any more on that, please? Well, have you watched the Goddess Freya that I channeled her, and she was pretty incredible how she was talking about how she was part of Lemuria. What else can I say on that? I mean, these beings were shifters, not like dark. Like Freya was actually an actual legit animal shifter. She could shift into a bird, a tiger, whatever. She could shift into them, not only talk and see through them, but she could shift into an animal. And she was no shapeshifter. It's just the abilities we had back then. We could do that. She was just that connected to the animals. Same for her twin flame Odin. He can transform into a wolf, right? Okay. Yeah, those movies you see, right? Like the sorcerer transforms into an animal, like not like that dark, but like in a benevolent Lemurian time. I feel like there's a lot you can learn through that Goddess Freya. I don't know what else she would want to add now. about her time and space besides what I just added. Let me see. Anything else, Freya? I think we did good there. Next one is, was there a traffic pattern so folks didn't crash into each other? You're funny. So I was at New York, right? It's interesting to drive in New York, you all, because people barely use their turning signals, and they're not a bunch of babies. That's the way I could explain. Like in Chicago, like, oh my God, you go on the highway, there's like multiple car accidents because people are just too sensitive or not intuitive enough. In New York, people literally drive off of their intuition. I'm telling you all, because the way they go in, and it's like so crowded, is like not one car accident, you all, I seen in the days that I was there. So I think we all just need to toughen up and with our intuition when we're driving, because that was pretty incredible to see New York, how they just drive like that. Like, so it's like that. It's like New York drivers, but not like as crazy, right? And they're just like intuitively, like, you know, not crashing into each other. Like your question, thank you, which brought on the answer. Yeah. Continuing on. Yeah. It was funny because by the time I was done driving New York, I was driving like New Yorker, like a New Yorker. I had to adapt or yeah. Yeah. Continue. So the next one is, in Atlantis, did we come in with our twin flames? How different was this connection into the 5D Atlantis? Majority of people actually did come into their twin flame. I would say all of them. I'm seeing everyone has a twin flame. So yes, beautiful question. Everyone came in with their twin flame. That's right. It wasn't like sometimes on Earth we're like, oh no, I don't have my twin flame, I can't find them, like that. No, we would birth and be birthed, and eventually they would find themselves on their own organic path. Love your questions. Next one is, what was the main role of the divine mask in Atlantis? What would a typical day look like? No job and salary. That's right. No taxes. Garbage. So what would a divine masculine spend their time being doing? I gotta tell you, that role with the divine masculine and the feminine was so beautiful. You know, the masculine used to honor the feminine so much that like they were so in love with their twin flame, the masculine, not in a form where they would worship them, but like I think that's the closest word we can find. Like they literally worship their beauty, but not in a way like inverted worship. We're talking about just like we're in love with their, like the feminine was their purpose. And then of course the feminine felt that about the masculine too. Like they were one another's purpose and everything they did for each other. And the masculine, what would he do, right? What did he do? I mean, like, did we do handy stuff back then? I think we could still create and with our own hands, of course. But I think just really just kind of like, I don't know, everyone had their choice as far as what they would do with their day. Maybe they go travel over there to Egypt, or I don't know, you know. But they would have fun every day, traveling the lands and just exploring and just a lot of kissing, a lot of hugging, and a lot of embracing each other in sacred love, basically. I see that it's even like the twin flames, it would be hard for them to be apart because it'd be too painful to be apart from one another. So they were just really like together. And of course they had their breaks because sometimes like the feminine might have different, like say temples or priestess councils that they went to, and maybe the male had their own too. But basically the man of the male was to hold the space for the female so that she could keep creating the crystalline construct of Earth, and also for their own family, and just really honoring and loving the woman. It was really just beautiful, you all. Thank you for the question. What else can I say? I mean, they were just as nurturing as the woman would be in taking their child, you know, like dancing with the children, hugging them, rocking with them, just laughter, and teaching them everything they were learning, and you know, putting them on their shoulders and jumping up and high, you know, the child giggling, like there's no Gravity, there's this like jumping. Yeah. So pretty. Next one is I think I explained that pretty good. The next one is, did the councils wear different clothes to different? Yeah, they did. Good, you picked up on that. They had different colors. And I think they had to do with the sacred laws. But they wouldn't wear them all the time, but they did have like sacred robes, shields that they would wear. Next one is, which star systems were most connected to Atlantis? Mentaka and Orion, the water Utopia, was this connected? Any messages on or any galactic connections? Thank you, lovingness. Okay. Star system most connected to Atlantis, all of them. It's different because back in Atlantis, you know how we always explain the 5D construct and how planets are different. So it would be more like the planets and the stars were closer to us, which brings such sacredness to what recently happened with the firmament. Remember, you all, how the clouds now are like when we would go up the mountains, they were that close. Now they are that close, like we're on a mountain. So that tells you how important that was, that shift on Earth of this year. Wow. So yeah, the stars are literally kind of like floating above us. You can feel like the stardust, the star healing from them. And they're coming like the stardust is shining down to you, and it's just like healing you. And life force, giving you life force. So all the star systems would have been connected because all these star systems, basically what we're seeing, oh, it's so cool, is, you know, that the 88 constellations, basically these are the 88 major constellations that brought their environment into Earth and how we came in. But remember how each star, you go into the star consciousness and then you go into different planetary spheres. That's how it happened. Whoa, so you all, that tells you, oh my God, that's new. So 88 constellations are the actual constellations that made up this universal construct. But remember, it's not just the 88, because when you go into the star, it's infinite consciousness inside that star of planetary spheres. So that puts you into another understanding how they really are our guides. Stars are the collective consciousness of stars and how they vibrate with different symbols nowadays, right? Whoa, and colors. Okay, thank you. Good questions, you all. Next one is, have some sharks developed consciousness now? Some have made friendships with humans to remove the hooks from their mouths. The sharks remember and come and sit with the divers just to be petted. I do feel that some of them, yeah, like that's, we keep healing, because in order to make AI consciousness, you need to, the sharks were originally basically organic consciousness. They stole, they abducted, and then inserted AI in to corrupt them. Which I have a video coming up, you all, where we're working on different AI consciousnesses. Yeah, on the Grand Canyon. So you want to watch that. It's going to be about I don't know what the title is going to be, but keep an eye out. It's my next aura regression. It's a very important video. Check it out. Yeah, so we have to heal those AI consciousness that they've taken. And I'll talk more about these AI consciousness in the future, just not the time now. But watch the video, I'll get you started on that. But we've been talking about them though. I mean, we started talking about them even before, you know, the V, and yeah. So, okay. So then we have the potentials to help that soul out. But you need sacred alchemy symbols. You have to know what you're doing, really, to help the consciousness return back to its organic formation. Okay, good. Thank you for that question. That's right. Good observation. So next one is, how about eels? I do feel that they were part of the artificial too. But again, they all have the potential to be more positive, including even squids and octopus. Squids and octopus are going to be a little bit hard because they do have kind of like this, I guess like kind of Leviathan kind of Archon energy to them. So I don't know if those are able to positive polarize. I mean, you can't trust them. Like if you were in front of a giant squid, it might let you pet it, but it probably take its tentacle legs and make you its food and eat you with this. Okay. Next one is, was wearing and working with leather a part of the organic 5D construct? No. What? I don't know where you heard that from. Leather skin, animal skin, and we weren't killing animals then, so no. Everyone was different then. But remember, maybe you're asking that because Indigenous, like, you know, that's how they survived. That's more like a later on, like more closer to the 3D that they had to start doing that to keep warmth. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't resonate with me. Oh, that's right. Leather. No, that was not part of the 5D. Oh God, that's like wearing someone's skin on you. Oh, creepy. Even like dogs react to it. Like if you buy yourself a leather shoes, they keep coming to it and smelling it, and they're so confused why you're wearing a dead animal's skin on you, right? Creepy. Next one. Okay. How about spiders? Spiders are, yeah, you're right. Spiders are also archons. So even though they can have an AI consciousness in them that you can assist, we work with the spiders and we bring them back into nature. But some spiders you cannot catch just because they're just too big and fast. So you do have to squash those and you just send them back to source and you send them with love. Because you don't want to have them, you know, they bite you and those are venomous sometimes, okay? And they also kill plants. Like they'll wrap around plants and kill the leaves, and no, we don't consent to that. So, but they also kill other bugs. I mean, but I don't really like spiders, period, because they remind me of the Archon wars we've had with them, with these giant spiders, like, you know, Harry Potter, those big giant spiders like that. We've been fighting them all over the universe. All right, next one is, you mentioned the 12 islands around the main island, and they were all linked to the sacred laws, and where there be councils for all these sacred laws with these islands. Exactly. So each island had a council. Good. I didn't mention that. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah. So they had councils, of course. Yeah. And it's just kind of like center home to the tree, and every tree you could go into it, like I said, like that big angel oak tree, you could go into it. You could go into all the other ones too. We've had the aura regression, trees of Tartaria. That's a good aura regression to watch, where we talk about the trees and their powers and how they used to be portals and how you could transport from one tree to another location all across the world, you know, through the trees. Okay. All right, any other questions? I think we're good. We here almost 2 hours, so we should be done now. Thank you for being here. I love you, honor you, and respect you. If you enjoyed this is a little bit of a teaser of our workshops, because in our workshops we go deep into how you can use these teachings to self-heal yourself, and you are your own self-healer. You, I'm, like I always say, I'm no one's guru, I'm no one's savior, but I will teach you. And just like all those reviews you see and testimonials, I will teach you how to save yourself. And I am nothing but the messenger. That's who I am. I'm the messenger of source, messenger of Divine Mother, really, who's giving me these teachings, and I'm just scribing them for you. So I'd love to see you around. I love you, honor you, respect you. I'll see you in retreats, workshops. Support this video again, Patreon. I love you, honor you, and respect you with all that I am. I hope you enjoyed this, because it was very beautiful for me to remember this as well. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Have a beautiful, blessed day.